my dear students. Today we are going to study about non-metals. In our previous videos, we had completed what is a metal and physical and chemical properties of metals. So, in today's video, we will study what is non-metal and physical and chemical properties. Clear? So, let's go to the video. Yes, dear students. So, in our previous videos, we have learned about metals, and we learned that in a periodic table, metals occupy almost 3/4 position. So, they have the majority. But out of 119 elements known, only 22 elements are non-metals. But these non-metals plays a very important role in our everyday life. So, the study of non-metals is very important. So, let's see what are the physical properties of non-metals. Yes, dear students. So, we are going to study about the physical properties of non-metals. Here you can see a list of 10 physical properties which we had already discussed in our previous videos related to the physical properties of metals. So if you learn these, or if you learn the physical properties of metals, it will be easy for you to compare and study. Clear? Now let's move to the first physical property, that is physical state. We know that matter exists in 3 states. They are solids, liquids and gases. Same way, the non-metals also exist in all the 3 states of matter, solids, liquids and gases. But generally non-metals, almost all non-metals are exist in gases. For example, we can give nitrogen, oxygen, chlorine. These all are gases. But there are non-metals which are in solid state. But only one non-metal which is in liquid at room temperature, that is bromine. Bromine is the non-metal which is found in liquid in room temperature. Clear? Now, the second one, lustrous or luster property. We had learned that luster property means the shining appearance. But in the case of non-metals, non-metals are generally having a dull appearance. They are not lustrous. But only one exception is there, iodine metal, which is having a luster appearance. A luster appearance is there for the iodine metal. Okay. Now, the third one, malleability. We had learned that the property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheets is called malleability. But in the case of non-metals, non-metals are not at all malleable. Okay. If you try to hammer them, they will break into pieces. And that property of non-metals are called brittleness or brittle property. Okay. When you try to hammer them, they will break into pieces. That property we call it as brittleness. Now, moving to the next one, that is ductility. Non-metals are not ductile. That means they cannot drawn into thin wires. So they are not ductile. Now, the fifth property, that is hardness. Non-metals are generally soft elements. Okay, they are not at all hard. But there is an exception. One allotropic form of carbon, that is diamond, is the hardest non-substance. So you have to remember that exception. Now coming to the density, we learned that metals are very high density, but in the case of non-metals, non-metals are having very low densities. What is the reason for it? The reason for that is they are very loosely packed inside their structure, so they have very low density. Now coming to the melting point and boiling point. The non-metals are having very low melting and boiling points. For example, sulfur, which is having a very low melting point of 115 degrees Celsius. The reason behind it is they are having very less intermolecular force of attraction between the particles when they arranged. Okay, so they can be melted or they can be boiled very easily. Now coming to the thermal conductivity. Non-metals, we can say the thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity together because the reason is same. In the case of non-metals, they are bad conductors of thermal, heat as well as electricity. Do you know what is the reason? Because they don't have any free electrons to share. Okay, non-metals do not have any free electrons to share, so they are not showing any thermal conductivity or electrical conductivity. They are bad conductors of electricity as well as heat. Now coming to the sonorous property, you know that what is meant by sonorous property. When metals strike on a hard surface, they will produce a ringing sound. That property we call it as sonorous. But in the case of non-metals, non-metals are not sonorous. They won't produce ringing sound when they struck on a hard surface. Clear? So these 10 physical properties are very important because you can compare and study with the metals. Okay? Dear students, we have seen the physical properties of non-metals. Now our next topic is the chemical properties of non-metals. Non-metals are generally have 4 to 8 electrons in their outermost shell. So they have always a tendency to accept the electrons to complete their octet. So they are known as electronegative elements because when they receive an electron to complete its octet or stability, they will become negatively charged ions. So they are known as electronegative elements. So the first chemical property of nonmetals are reaction with oxygen. We know that nonmetals react with oxygen to form their non-metallic oxide. Okay, these non-metallic oxides are having two characters. Either they will be neutral or acidic. They have neutral or acidic oxides. They will form neutral oxides or acidic oxides. Okay, so we can see some examples. These acidic oxides or neutral oxides, when we dissolve in water, we will get a acidic solution or a neutral solution. For example, nonmetals like carbon. Carbon, when react with oxygen, we know that we will get carbon dioxide gas. And this carbon dioxide gas, when dissolved in water, that is CO2 plus H2O, we will get an acid H2CO3. What is this? This is carbonic acid. Same way, sulfur, when react with oxygen, we will get sulfur dioxide. This sulfur dioxide gas, when treated or dissolved in water, we will get H2SO3, sulfurous acid. Okay, so these are the examples of reaction of nonmetals with oxygen. So we can say that nonmetals react with oxygen to give a non-metallic oxide, which when dissolved in water we will get either acidic solution, or neutral solution, because they are as either acidic oxides or neutral oxides. I think it is clear to all of you. Yes. So the second chemical property is reaction of nonmetals with water. We know that in the case of metals, metals react with water to form their corresponding metal oxide or metal hydroxide. But here, nonmetals do not react with water. What is the reason? Because they cannot displace hydrogen from water to form a compound. What is the reason behind it? The reason is that because nonmetals do not have any free electrons to displace hydrogen. So they will not react with water. This is the reason same for the next reaction, that is reaction of nonmetals with dilute acids. Nonmetals do not react with dilute acids because they don't have any free electrons to displace hydrogen from dilute acids. So you have to remember these two reactions are not possible with the nonmetals. Now coming to the next reaction, that is reaction with hydrogen. So we don't have the third reaction and the second reaction. Now we have the fourth one. So we can write the fourth reaction are reaction with hydrogen. So the reaction with hydrogen is nonmetals react with hydrogen to form their corresponding hydrides. So let us see some examples. H2 plus O2 gives H2O. Best example we can write. Another example, H2 plus S gives H2S. Hydrogen plus sulfur gives hydrogen sulfide. H2 plus Cl2 gives 2HCl. Hydrogen plus chlorine gives hydrogen chloride gas. So these are the examples of reaction of nonmetals with hydrogen. Clear? Now another chemical property is there, that is reaction with chlorine. Here the best example is given here, reaction with chlorine. That is nonmetals react with chlorine to form their corresponding chlorides. This is the example. H2 plus Cl2 gives 2HCl. Hydrogen plus chlorine gives hydrogen chloride. Okay. Another example is phosphorus plus chlorine gives phosphorus trichloride. Okay. So we can see that P4 plus 6Cl2 gives 4PCl3. That means phosphorus reacts with chlorine to give phosphorus trichloride. Clear? Now we have one more reaction, that is reaction of nonmetals with other salt solutions. So here we can see the displacement reaction. What is the displacement reaction? The more reactive element, I mean a more reactive substance, will displace the less reactive substance from its salt solution. So here also a more reactive nonmetal will displace less reactive nonmetal from its salt solution. That is the form. Clear? Now dear students, we have seen almost 6 chemical properties of nonmetals, but out of 6, 2 are not possible. What are they? Reaction of nonmetals with water and reaction of nonmetals with dilute acids. You have to remember it. What is the reason behind it? Because they don't have any free electrons to displace hydrogen from water and from dilute acids. Is it clear? So other than that, we have first one, reaction of nonmetals with oxygen, and reaction of nonmetals with hydrogen, reaction of nonmetals with chlorine, and reaction of nonmetals with other salt solution, that is called a displacement reaction. Is it clear, my dear students? Okay. So dear students, this is the topic of our day, that is nonmetals and physical and chemical properties of nonmetals. I hope the topics which we have covered are clear to all of you. If you have any doubt, please do message or make a call. Thank you.